don't think we've seen anything like this before. We have a studio that is essentially headed into oncoming traffic. They've turned around and they're headed back in the direction of the players. They've been criticized by the media. They've been dismissed by their peers, all because they took a stance saying that they don't believe that social or political messaging should influence game design. Imagine that being controversial. Imagine siding with the players being controversial. Take it a step further. I was approached by this studio to make a video under the condition that there are no restrictions. Make the videos that you like to make. It's for the best. So this video is sponsored by Lords of the Fallen with no red tape, no censorship. The only thing that they asked is that I talk about their 2.0 update and how much the game has improved. Joke's on them. I would have talked about it anyway. It's really impressive what they've done. But this is how you reach players. Transparency. They understand that. This game has gone through hell and back. It had a failed start, gone through multiple studios, gone through a reboot that didn't really land all that well right when it first came out, but now it's transformed into one hell of a comeback story. They are allowing you to be able to invite your friend to play the game for free. Seamless co-op progression, friend plays for free. Just like It Takes Two or Split Fiction. I feel like I'm living in an alternate universe right now. So today what I want to do is I want to talk about Lords of the Fallen. I want to talk about how they've taken a stance against the direction that this industry has been headed in. I want to talk about all the improvements they've made with their game, with their 2.0 update. And I also want to talk about the interview that I had with their CEO about how they're putting players first. The world is healing. Lords of the Fallen is a bit of an odd beast. The original game came out in 2014 under a studio named Deck 13. It had promise, great art direction, a strong premise, but it had a lot of issues. It didn't really understand what it was like to be a Souls-like game, and as such, it never really found an audience. Then came the sequel. The IP was then passed around a few different times through a few different studios. The project was shut down a handful of times before CI Games just said screw it and founded an entirely new studio called Hexworks to try again from the ground up. And what they made in 2023 was a massive improvement that now rebooted Lords of the Fallen under the same name. It looked beautiful. The art direction was incredible. Seriously, I love the way that this world looks. The Umbral Realm concept was genuinely unique, shifting between realms depending on the situation, serving as both a combat mechanic and an exploration tool. The game finally had something resembling its own voice. But that voice was buried under some serious performance issues, bugs, balance problems, issues with combat and exploration. It reviewed decently with a 73 on OpenCritic, but it didn't really land. It was one of those hot and cold games where some people really liked it for what it was and other people didn't want to have anything to do with it. The kind of game that you'll hear about for a week before it vanishes from conversation, especially given the fact that it launched near some pretty steep competition in Lies of P just the month before it. In most cases, hell, 9 times out of 10, any studio would have taken the loss. They would have fixed a few bugs and then begun work on their next title. But Hexworks and CI Games did the opposite. They dug in. Over the past 2 years, they have shipped more than 50 updates, all of them completely free. They've reworked performance, revamped the controls, they fixed bugs, improved stability, added build variety, and listened to very specific criticisms from the community. Things like stamina balancing, boss scaling, mob density, co-op stability. It's rare to see a developer actually chip away at a game like this, not for press, not for hype, not for anything other than just wanting to make the game better for the people that bought it and for fans in the future. They actively were listening to feedback the entire time, making improvements and getting no recognition for it. Well, I shouldn't say no recognition because the game has consistently climbed from mixed reviews up to mostly positive, but after this next update, I wouldn't be surprised if this game's going to climb even higher. Lords of the Fallen has released their 2.0 update, and with it, everything has come together. This isn't just another patch, it's a full overhaul. Combat responsiveness has been tightened, feeling much smoother than before. They've added unique sound and better sound to every single weapon attack, blocks, and even parries, giving combat that heft that it was missing. Movement is faster, dodging is cleaner. They added a dedicated jump button for smoother platforming. The lock-on feature is more intuitive now. You're not getting stuck on environmental objects anymore. Heck, they've even gone as far as adding a new guidance mechanic for the Umbral Lamp that allows you to navigate yourself when lost. I mean, they have quite literally attacked every single major criticism of this game here. Visually, the game is even sharper. They've revamped their UI, they've improved their character creator, allowing for more masculine and feminine character designs as requested by their audience. And honestly, I still think this is probably one of the best uses of Unreal Engine 5 to date. From the texture detail to the lighting to the fact that the entire game, though linear, renders the entire world all at the same time, it's gorgeous. But here's where things get really interesting. They have added a genre-first system, which they're calling the Free Friends Pass. You can now invite a friend who doesn't own the game to come and play the entire thing with you co-op. No trial, no demo, the full game. You can play together. You all get to keep your loot and character progression. And eventually, if they want to pick up the game for themselves, well, they can pick up right where they left off. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I skipped this game at launch. I had watched a few reviews, I saw the performance issues, I'd heard the complaints about map design, the combat. I watched Asmongold pull out what was left of his hair while he was being overwhelmed by too many enemies, and I just didn't want to deal with it. I was still working in construction at the time. I didn't really have a lot of hours to burn, so I figured I would circle back to it if things ever got fixed. And they did. And more. A lot more. I've been playing it, and while Lords of the Fallen still has some rough edges, the narrative is relatively thin and not particularly well delivered. You still come across some random visual bugs here or there, like my cloak breakdancing around my neck. Enemy telegraphs can be a little inconsistent. Boss fights don't always deliver the impact that you feel like they should. Some of them definitely do. But there is something incredibly charming about playing this game. It's like they accidentally created their own sub-flavor of the Souls genre. Something faster, more consumable, less punishing, but still engaging, leaning much harder into the fun of these games rather than the difficulty, though the game isn't without challenge. Lords of the Fallen doesn't really ask for your full emotional or mental investment to play a game like this, or at least like a lot of other Souls-like games do. You're not constantly on edge or feeling drained after every fight. There is a much lower mental barrier to entry here, something you can actually relax into while getting your Souls-like fix. There is something incredibly satisfying about shredding through a game like this, and even when I do hit a tough boss or a challenging section of enemies, I never feel stuck. I overcome it after a couple of tries, and I move on. It's kind of nice to play a game like this that doesn't make me want to throw my controller through the wall. They didn't make the perfect game, but they've made something interesting, and more importantly, they never stopped trying to make it better. In a time that so many studios are content shipping broken products and never fixing them, maybe patch it once or twice and move on, Lords of the Fallen feels like a genuine passion project, something that they never wanted to give up on, and one that keeps getting better every time that you come back. In most cases, this game would have been long abandoned by now, but Hexworks and CI Games never gave up on it. They really wanted to make sure that this game would work. And honestly, they did it. They pulled it off. There's something in that not wanting to give up. There's something in that iterative process where you're trying to continue to improve. And we're talking about a game that failed once already, that had multiple reboot attempts, finally put out another one, and here they are improving that one. And I have a lot of respect in that, because not only does it mean a lot to the players that purchased the game, but it also means a lot to me as a player who hasn't, or, well, I mean, I have now, but it also means a lot to me as a player that's now looking forward to what they work on next, because you're building a reputation. I've been having a blast with it. Sponsored video, YouTuber glazing, I know. No, I've seriously been having a lot of fun with it, because I'm happy I didn't play this game when it first came out, because I would have gone in with the wrong expectations. I would have been disappointed by the performance, but now I'm just having a really good time relaxing and playing something a bit more casual, something a bit more polished, a hack and slash take on the Souls genre. I'm digging it. Share the game with your friends for free. That I didn't see coming. I thought that was something that was reserved just for Hazelight. And this is the last genre that I would expect to see something like that in, because it's genius, plain and simple. Not only are you going to get people that are going to want to buy the game so they can play with a friend for free, but you're also going to have that friend that's likely to buy the game if they end up liking it. That's how this whole thing works. Keep in mind, I've brought this up before. I said that while everybody else wants to increase their prices, the ones that are going to succeed are the ones that are going to undercut them. This is undercutting them. Fair pricing, this is how you build loyalty. This is how you get players to trust you. I like it. You know, I've had my eye on CI Games and Hexworks for a minute. Their CEO of CI Games has been very active over the past few years, getting very involved in discussions, saying some things about the industry, to say the least. And I never imagined that they would go to this length to make good on a promise. They came forward saying that they want to be a player-first studio. And from my perspective, at least right now, that looks like exactly what they're doing. And they're going to do it regardless of whether or not it pisses off the industry, which it is. One of the biggest complaints that I've seen for modern gaming, bigger than bugs, performance issues, hell, even bigger than monetization lately, is something that a lot of people don't even feel comfortable saying out loud. The creeping presence of personal ideology in games, political messaging, performative social narratives, studio agendas that feel more concerned with social media engagement than they do with actually making a game that players want to play. It's not just about what's in these games, it's the overwhelming feeling that you're not even allowed to question any of it. That raising your hand to say, hey, maybe this doesn't belong here, will get you labeled, dismissed, or dogpiled by bad faith actors that think any disagreement is hate speech. And let's be real, very few developers are willing to be even open to this conversation. It's become the ever-present elephant in the room. Most studios, writers, commentators, hell, even players are so afraid of even upsetting the status quo that they've been defaulted into silent complicity more than anything else. Even when these games are getting worse, even when the sales are going down, even when the fans are slowly walking away, everybody just stays silent. But CI Games did the opposite. Sometime last year, Marek Tominsky, the CEO of CI Games, the guy behind Lords of the Fallen's Resurrection, made a stand. He said that he was going to put players first, not just as a slogan, but as a business strategy, a design philosophy, a studio culture. And he didn't just say it, he followed through. They started watching Twitch streams and YouTube videos, reading Reddit threads, polling people on Twitter, and actually listening. But more important than that, responding. Earlier this year, Marek had posted a poll asking what players wanted when it came to character creation. The industry standard at this point has been body type A and body type B, a vague, impersonal system that nobody really asked for, and it just kind of appeared one day forced upon us. So he asked the players directly, in a medieval fantasy action RPG experience, would you prefer between these two, body type A and B, male and female, or something else? Nearly 50,000 people voted. 88% of them said male and female. CI Games went and made the change just like that. They reverted it. Now, whether you agree or disagree with that decision, that's not really the point here. The point is they asked their audience directly. They got an overwhelming response. They acted on it. This is what listening looks like. After making these changes, Marek would then take things further. He would then take a stance and talk about how studios need to separate their personal politics from commercial products, saying that the key is to separate social and political views of studio employees from creative decisions that drive each project. The editorial has to be independent of such views and serve the best it can the vast majority of players. Of course, the media did not take that well, and headlines popped up everywhere. Lords of the Fallen dev is wrong about politics, and Elden Ring proves it. Lords of the Fallen publisher embraces the fear of DEI boogeyman. Lords of the Fallen publisher uses anti-DEI as marketing meme. It's the usual song and dance. Any pushback against any social, political, or identity-first design is framed as evil, as ignorance, as bigotry, even when the vast majority of players agree with it. Even when it's just a studio doing what any other business in the world would do and what they're supposed to be doing, which is serve their customers. I reached out to Marek directly to ask him about this, about the backlash, and about why he felt it was important to open the door to these kind of conversations when the industry has slammed it shut. He told me, we want to serve our communities the best we can. Last year, we made it a part of our strategy is being player first. That's not just a slogan, it's the full reality that we're committed to. We don't allow any DEI bullshit to impact our products. We were wrong about body types A and B. We fixed that very quickly to male and female when it became clear that that's what the vast majority want. The games industry was hijacked at some point by activists. It ended up with a lot of false assumptions about this so-called modern audience. I follow a very simple old concept. Make products your customers want. What's wrong or controversial with that? Now, regardless of where you fall on these issues, I still think this is the key. The fact that something so basic, make what people want, has become so controversial tells you everything that you need to know about the state of this industry today. The audience feels this overwhelming pressure being forced into almost every media product that they consume. It's not something that they asked for, and when they complain about it or they try to ask a question, they are treated like social dissidents. These people are paying for these things. It's not that these things can't exist in games, it's just that you can't expect people to want it or like it. And if you want your customers to be happy, you have to give them what they want, not what you want. When I asked Marek about the growing divide between players and developers, or just the industry in general, and why so few studios seem willing to even ask any hard questions, he said something that really stuck with me. I think most of them are asking, but too often they ask selectively, avoiding questions they don't want to ask. That quote cuts to the heart of the issue. Sure, we see plenty of studios pretending to engage, collecting feedback, sending out surveys, running community Q&A, but it's all incredibly curated, selective, sanitized. They'll ask what weapon balance feels like or what feature you want in the next patch, but they won't ask why players are feeling alienated, why character designs are getting roasted, or why games like Concord flop while games like Marvel Rivals take off. In a lot of cases, the industry simply isn't asking questions they don't want the answers to. Continuing my conversation with Marek, I asked about what else they've been doing to improve their games and leverage player feedback, and he went on to say that CI Games recently started working with the same playtesting agency that helped FromSoft with Elden Ring. And while they're not designing by committee, they are validating their design through player feedback. Now, that might seem obvious, but that's not how a lot of studios work anymore. Finally, I had asked him if this kind of transparency and player first focus was just a phase or whether it was something they were going to be committed to long term. He responded saying, "We made a promise to be player first and we will stay fully committed to that. But the key focus will always remain on making the best games we can." Now, look, I'm not going to say that CI games or Hexwork are perfect. I'm not saying that every studio needs to agree with every player. Hell, I'm not even saying that every studio or publisher should follow exactly what CI games and Hexworks are doing. But if we want this industry to get better, to make games better, to rebuild trust that's been bleeding for years now, we need more of this. More honesty, more questions, more humility, more studios that are willing to say, we were wrong and change course. More studios willing to listen. CI games and Hexworks aren't just patching a game, they're patching a broken relationship between players, publishers, and studios. And Lords of the Fallen and its 2.0 patch is just the first step down that path. A move towards more transparency and real discussions is the only way that we're going to get better games. It's how this industry heals over time, because it does need to heal. It's been struggling for a while, and I'm sure this is going to lead to some tough conversations, and people's feelings are bound to get hurt, but it's the only way for things to get better. It's the only way for us to get better games and for some of these people to be able to keep their jobs in some cases. I think far too often people want to shy away from these kind of topics, and because of that, they then just dismiss whatever the other side has to say. And when you got two walls that are screaming at each other and neither one of them want to move, well, nothing can happen. Can't have that. It's great to see how much Lords of the Fallen has improved. I love seeing a studio genuinely listening to their audience, implementing that feedback, iterating on that design, and improving their game. That's exactly what they've done. 2 years this game has been out. Like I said before, in most cases, it would have been long abandoned. They never gave up on it. It has been an absolute joy to play. I recommend it to everybody that's been watching this video. And while CI games and Hexworks aren't going to get it right every single time, no studio ever does, at least these guys are trying. And from my perspective, that's more than we get in a lot of cases. So I appreciate that. I want to give a huge thanks to you guys, the viewer, because if it wasn't for you, something like this wouldn't even be possible. This kind of collaboration wouldn't be possible. I want to give a huge thanks to Lords of the Fallen for sponsoring this video. Make sure that you guys go and check out the 2.0 update. It will be live by the time this video has gone up. I've been playing it. I've been really enjoying it. If you have the game, re-download it. Invite one of your friends to come and play it for free. If you don't have the game, they have wildly deep discounts across the board. PlayStation Store, Xbox, Epic Game Store, Steam, all of them. Up to 70% off on almost every single platform. Go check it out. Go give the game a buy. It's definitely worth your money. And yeah, that's all I have. I'm actually going to hop off and play a little bit more. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, share the video with your friends, and come follow me on Twitch. Watch me live. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. Peace.
Family, 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 family.